Hi guys and ladies, welcome back to the channel. My name is Lisema Matsietsi and thank you for coming here to watch this video. This week we're talking about the powers that AI has been introducing to us, especially from November last year 2022. There's this thing called ChatGPT. We're talking about that one. It's using the natural language algorithm called GPT. Wanna see, does it actually impact your analysis or not? So we're talking GPT for analysis. Can you use it? Can you not? I personally, if you want to know a brief version, I personally don't see the need as yet. And I'll talk to all the other examples in the rest of the video. Before we start off, I just want to talk about a little bit of my story with machine learning. So it was when I was doing my honors in informatics. I came to the class, they wrote something like optimization. So I thought, oh, optimization might be a good course to take. I'm gonna do optimization. So I canceled out optimization, but before I cancelled it out, I didn't know that my request was accepted. So I went to the class. As I come into the class, I saw for the first lecture, and he shows us this little worm. It looks like Tetris. It's walking around, and it's like, at the end of the semester, you guys are gonna be coding a machine learning program that's gonna be similar to this one. And that one, he said, it took him a couple of hours to do in the morning. And for us, for our assignment, was gonna do that thing. So I sat there at the back of the room. It was quite a small room, about 10 people in there. I sat there and I thought to myself, do I really need to know machine learning? Because to me, it was the only time that I'm needed is at the beginning of the code. And then for the rest of the lifetime of the code will learn by itself. Do I need to be involved? And that has been my attitude towards AI for a long time. And I'm saying this so that you can know my biases towards the AI. I thought to myself, me learning how to code a machine learning algorithm might be pointless because the machine itself, later on, it will learn how to start off the code itself. All I have to do just show the computer. So I went into big data and I studied big data. I went to information security governance, and I went into critical information infrastructure protection. I found those ones were quite interesting, including computer forensics compared to machine learning. But recently there's been a new discovery that came, and it something in me, that euphoria. It's called euphoria when you're remembering something from a while. This thing is called ChatGPT. I had it coming and now people are talking a lot about it. I decided to go in and check it out, and right there it hit me in the face. It felt like Wolfram Alfa. Wolfram Alfa is what I was also introduced to as I was doing my IT management degree, the computer geeks. They introduced this thing. They said, hey guys, there's this thing that's better than Google. If you guys don't know how Google works, Google uses indexing. I think, for instance, you go into Google, you type in list of SMEs in South Africa. You won't get a list of SMEs in South Africa, but it will give you websites that it has indexed that has got a list of SME funders in South Africa. That's how Google works. They introduced me to this other thing. They said, this thing is gonna kill Google. It's called Wolfram Alfa. But instead, this guy, Stephen Wolfram, he decided to do this project, university or whatever, research project, and he created a search engine. Uses what they call Mathematica. It goes at the back, it does its own computations, it spits out the results for you. So the ideal state is, imagine having to go to Google, and instead of getting a list of websites, you actually get the answer. So when I say a list of South African SME funds in South Africa, I don't get a list of websites. I get the answer to say there are 75, here are their names, here how you get hold of them, this is the application, because essentially that's what you want. So remembering that, I went into ChatGPT, which uses natural language, and I went into Google, and I went into Wolfram Alfa, which is the one that reminds me, and I searched the same word, list of SME funds in South Africa. And in all three of them, you could see I found different results. Google, I found a list of websites. Wolfram Alfa, well, it was quite disappointing. It gave me, out of all of that word that I wrote there, it decided to pick South Africa. And it gave me a whole data on South Africa that I don't need. So Wolfram Alfa was Just horrible, and it reminded me why I stopped using it. I went to ChatGPT, and it was quite interesting. It gave me a list of SME funds in South Africa. And I was quite excited. I was going to make this to say, this is the best thing ever. Let me search about, data analytics and everything else. Until I came around an article that says, whoa, hang on a second. Before you get so excited about ChatGPT, it's still in development stages. And so far, it's so horrible in its computation. Wolfram Alpha is actually much better in computation, but Wolfram Alpha sucks in natural language processing. Like for instance, list of South African SMEs, it just decided to bring South Africa. And then forgotten that I'm not looking for South Africa, I'm looking for a list of SME funds in South Africa. So it's horrible, horrible, horrible for that. And an example that they created was this, word problem, word solution. I don't know if you guys did word problem in school, but I did something called commercial math, and this were the problems that we're gonna go to. You have a couple of eggs, you have 6 eggs, 3 drops down, you catch 2, how many eggs do you have? The smart ChatGPT, that's supposed to be AI, it said the answer, it's 4 eggs, while the answer is supposed to be 5. I mean, you caught 2. 6 eggs, 3 fell down, you caught 2. Can we do it in the future? Is there a future for ChatGPT? Definitely. It looks like there is a future. I mean, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, but Microsoft CEO spoke about in the Wall Street Journal recently, he spoke about the exciting news that they're gonna do in integrating some of Microsoft things with the language processing, the GPT, not the data behind the GPT, but the GPT, which is the language that it feels like human. If you send a swear word, it can identify it's a swear word, and it can just calm you down to say, relax, I'm not gonna answer you. If you're giving it, where's the direction to buy drugs, it could understand to say, hang on a second, here, this is quite illegal. It's not allowed in your country for you to get this information. So that GPT, they said there's a huge, huge future in Microsoft. And Microsoft wants to use its own natural products, the whole natural language into its products. So meaning that sooner or later, your Power BI, your Microsoft Excel, your Outlook might have that capability where you are typing, can you create this graph for me that does this? That's where GPT would come in and make, a huge impact. Because right now, where it stands as a standalone, like Open AI has made it, it makes it very difficult. And all of that is based on the architecture. The architecture is quite different in terms of Wolfram Alpha. If you look at the architecture between Wolfram Alpha and ChatGPT, you send, list of South African SMEs, it can identify immediately the word, it splits it out into different components, and it gives you the answer to say, whoa, the answer is Y, based on that whole list. When you go to Wolfram Alpha, you send the natural language, it goes there, it does the whole indexing, it takes the words, it creates its own index, it searches the index, whole story short, it brings back a report that you can download. It's quite nice that you can download the report, but the only problem with both ChatGPT and Wolfram Alpha is you need to understand how they work. A guy like me who's been, in the game for a couple of while, do I really need to drop the list that Google got me accustomed to in order to create my reports and send out suggestions for something that will give me instant answer? I don't know. Maybe the way that I grew up with, diskette and stiffy drives. I kind of like how Google sends this list, I go there, I have the feel and touch of the website, and I can see immediately as I read the website, I can see, is this a credible website, yes or no? Is there HTTPS on the side? Is there a log button? Can I trust the information here? Is somebody else who's got the same information, yes or no, type of a thing? And I can look at that. But in terms of Wolfram Alpha and ChatGPT, I don't know exactly where is it getting the information. So for my analysis, I might more likely still rely on my Google. And that's why I think maybe I might not be using ChatGPT, Wolfram Alpha, whatever AI thinks as yet. But do I think there's no hope at all for them? Definitely not. I think there's big hope for them, especially when it comes to Power BI. The current natural language processing is horrible. You have to write like a data passive. It feels like you're writing a SQL script. Can you get ct dot whatever street address from this table and that, and create that. It's like you're writing a script itself. For that, I would totally love if the GPT language could be integrated there, and it will make total sense. But for now, I don't think it makes any sense at all. Long story short, do you need to, go with the hype of GPTs, Wolfram Alpha, all of these AI things for you to become a good analyst? Not as yet. At first, I was worried, and I went in with people's debates saying, but what if AI can write the report for you? For as far as I'm concerned, if you want to have a taste of what AI reports looks like currently, don't waste any moment. Head out, go into your website, Wolfram Alpha, search whatever it is, even search your name, Lisema Matsietsi. I searched my own name. It didn't even know what it is. If anything else that's not based on Mathematica, Wolfram Alpha doesn't know it, because it uses statistical modeling to come up with its own, answers. If you go into ChatGPT, if you write my name, maybe there's something else that might come up, but remember, it's ChatGPT thus far is based on information that is being fed in. So currently, if I have released an album after 2021, ChatGPT would not know that. So it's based on all, because it's just for research purposes. But for later on, I don't think it's something as wow as it might sound like. People, I know that I was quite impressed with it. ChatGPT wrote an MBA examination, and it did quite well according to the professor, and I'm quite impressed with that. Why? Because the information that they were asking is old information. It is there in the database for quite a while. So maybe ChatGPT could help you summarize books, but in terms of creating reports and analysis for you, I don't know as yet. Where would I use it? I would use it just searching the facts. But in terms of searching, does it really make sense? I'll still go to Google, I'll still go to Bing. If you haven't subscribed and you watched this long, please consider subscribing, because I'm growing the community. It's the open community of people that aspire to become analysts, and even those that are already analysts who can actually get a refresher every now and then about my points. They ask me questions. It's quite an interactive session, and it's a nice friendly community. If you feel like you want to, please hit the subscription button. If you found this video quite useful, I don't know if it's useful or not. The only way that I would know is if you hit the like button. If you found it, you disapprove with some of the facts that I'm saying here, please feel free to hit the dislike button. But please leave me a comment at the bottom to say maybe you are wrong about ChatGPT is the best thing since sliced bread. And you know what? This is the debate. I will still allow your views, and I will still have my own views, and maybe together we can converge and create a new view. Thank you guys. Stay tuned for the next video.